Greetings and welcome back to Switched to Linux. It's Thursday, not Friday, as the newsy thing up there says, but I usually do this show on Friday night. So I decided to just go ahead and keep all the banners the same, because tomorrow we will have a special show where we will be talking about bullying and cyberbullying and things with a panel of different people. I'll be streaming it on my channel. It'll be streaming on Total OS today and maybe a few other channels out there as well. So just keep an eye out for that. That will be the regular time for the Friday night news, which is 9 o'clock Eastern time. So if you do want to jump into that, join us then. I will probably do another distro review tomorrow at some point in time as well. Just have another Linuxy thing there, since I'm taking over this day with other things. So, you know. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump on into the comments and see what's going on over here. Libre Secure. Phones are privacy leaking machines. I think leaking is phrased too gently. Probably. How about spewing? Privacy spewing devices? Is that a little bit better? Ubuntu admin. Greetings. Richard Stallman says cell phones are spyware. Yes. Yep. Even if it's a dumb phone by nature, the cell tower system location of tracking is always active. So they can track down the location of a phone. And that's where, fortunately, we just had a win, and the Supreme Court came down and said, no, even to get that data, law enforcement needs a warrant. But unfortunately, the cell phone company still has it regardless. I think that should probably be wiped. I mean, really, but why would that happen? Brian the Computer Geek, greetings. Hello, and everybody. All set up to hear about the spies we carry in our pockets. Switched to what? Mac? I don't know. What did we switch to? I'm not sure. Greetings and salutations, Ubuntu admin. Daniel Kovacs. Get some of that. All right. James Miller says, good evening to CJ and me. CJ, James Miller saying good morning or good evening. He's like, yeah, I don't mind. I'm just chilling right here. Word of Linux, greetings, Boptilop. Hello there, Connects. Freaks you out. It's like Connects. I'm thinking the toy. Is that what we're talking about? Word of Linux, hello again, and hello at all. Analog, greetings. Frost Ranger, the Frozen Room, hello. Boptilop, hello there. BK, greetings. William Armstrong, hi, how are you, sir? Tom Holt, greetings. Carbon Programmer, I have no idea what you're saying, but greetings. The kitty's privacy is breached. Yes, it is. And, there you go, facial recognition. Whoa, yeah. Oh, there you go, buddy. All right. Make room for my fuzzy snake up here. All right. For me, it is Friday. Yes. Just feels like a weird week anyway, so it's a good week to kind of do it. All right. Greetings and citations to all. Phones are sneeches, bro. Yep. I am well, Carbon. How are you doing? Explain my philosophy. All right, eventually. Linux Mint released 18.3 to 19 upgrade process. Yes, I did not have a look at it yet, but if you are looking for that upgrade process, the Linux Mint team has released that information today. You can check it out on their channel, and I think Joe Collins did a video on it. I'm not sure I'm going to do a video. I don't know. I have so many other things I want to do videos on. We'll just defer to Joe Collins' video, because he knows what he's doing with he knows his way around Linux Mint as well. All right, also when I watch a live stream, I use my phone. I am now using the Linux computer. Greetings. Williams says, fine. I got 2 hellos. Yes, you did. Hello in stereo. What do I actually do for work again? I am a web developer when I am not doing this type of stuff. I also am an author. I write books too. So there's a variety of things that I do. Neatson Trotter, I am doing well. How are you? Beautiful kitty. Thank you very much. All right, so let's go ahead and let's see. Whoa, I never actually set my thing up for the news system. My total week's just totally messed up. Stop it, computer. There we are. That's better. All right, so we have a couple different interesting topics today. The most extensive one I have is privacy. I have 1 article in business, 2 in security, and I have 3 articles in net neutrality fails. So we're going to be diving in with the privacy section first. So we're going to go ahead and leave a place marker over there, and then we will re-roll our intro and talk a little bit about the privacy news. Greetings and welcome back to Switch to Linux. We have another news section. I realize I'm recording this video on Thursday instead of Friday. That's because we have some special things planned for the Friday, and I was thinking about just tabling the news for the week, but then I started looking at it going, man, there's so much good news. How could we possibly skip the news this week? So let's go ahead and dive into our main news, where we talk about cell phone spies, primarily a lot of other interesting spy privacy type stuff. So we start out, would you pay $700 plus a $7 a month monthly fee to play a digital license plate with a GPS tracker and an RFID chip? People, I mean, I think everyone that likes this idea, we should just round them all up and send them in some other country for a while. Because this is insanity. There is no reason we should pay an extra $700 for a license plate and a monthly subscription fee just for the lovely privilege of being taxed. Because that's where this is going to go. It is a digital license plate that, yeah, sure, you can put a custom message on there like, be kind to bicyclists or whatever. And then, of course, the thing is, it has a GPS tracker. They're tracking it like, oh, you can keep track of everything. You can do the waypoints. You can see how many miles you've driven. Yeah, I can see how many miles I've driven with an odometer in my car. Thank you very much. Sure, there's legitimate applications for something like this, but ultimately these types of things are the first stepping stone to get into centralized data where all of our location, exact location and mileage are happening. And realize that GPS tracking in cars is what's being used to propose in some states new legislation based upon taxing people by the miles, and the government can have access to everywhere you've gone every exact mile you've gone at the very point in time you've gone there. Total tracking. It's the same thing we do with our cell phones. We just carry our cell phones everywhere. In this case, we're carrying this everywhere. This is insanity. It's insanity. It's all it is, insanity. And so, would you pay $700 plus a monthly fee for a digital license plate? Now, some privacy experts are saying, yeah, why are we giving all this data to one company? Well, what's the difference? I mean, Google has all our data. Facebook has all our data. What's another company? This is called R-Plate. They're producing these plates over here, and of course, they look much like the regular California plates. They'll display your registration on them. Right there, and then of course you can put in little things, you know, watch for cyclists. During the NBA Finals, I have it set to "Let's Go Warriors." That's a pretty pricey tag to put on a license plate, though, you know. And then of course it has GPS tracking, it has RFID tracking, so you can be tracked in two separate ways as you are navigating through. Yeah, modern day LoJack. Suppose somebody steals your car, you can see where it is. I mean, you know, there's other ways, man. There's other ways. This is insanity. This is insanity. But this is where we're moving. We've just totally lost all cognitive thought of any degree of privacy, and they're billing this as some amazingly positive thing. It's not, people. You're just giving everything away to anybody for, and I don't even know if this is convenience. I think this is just novelty. We're just giving away everything for novelty. This reeks of the people who were giving away social media designed literal cookies in exchange for enough information to hack into your bank account. Okay? That's how crazy this is. But the novelty of it is selling this kind of stuff, and it's insane. Of course, we have facial ID. London has this new facial ID thing they're testing. It has a 98% false positive rate. It gets the thing wrong 98% of the time, but they're using it because, quote, this is what the public would want. Only if you're the public that pays $700 and a $7 a month monthly fee to have a digital license plate that tracks everything you do. We have lost it in our world, people. We've lost it. This is insanity. Total insanity. So the London, of course, they're testing this entire thing. It doesn't work. It has a major false negative rate. Basically, it's identified like 2 people correctly so far. And there's been more than 100 people fed into this thing. It is so screwed up. It gets things wrong 98% of the time, and that's what the public wants. Somebody's smoking something good. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Yeah, there was a blocking bug in Facebook. This is neat. So, you can go onto Facebook if you're still on Facebook, and you can go on there, you can block certain people, stalkers, crazy people. I mean, I blocked people on there that I did not want having any access to anything that I would ever possibly do. Well, this would actually allow anybody in your block list randomly would be able to access everything that you got. I mean, so if you had some crazy internet stalker that you've added to your block list, this little bug showed up that it basically be somewhere between May 29th and June 5th. People who were blocked could still see everything that you were doing. Did not reinstate any friend connections that had been severed. Okay, so you didn't wake up one day and say, oh, hey, I thought I unfriended you a while ago. 83% of the people affected by the bug had only one person they had blocked temporarily and unblocked. And someone who was unblocked might have been able to contact people on Messenger who had blocked them. Yeah, Facebook, it's all about the privacy. Don't worry. Facebook, they're just all on the privacy. So much so that they've finally detailed information about these sharing agreements. Now, I talked about these about a month or two ago, where they had agreements with several different companies, and some companies were like, oh, we've never had any types of agreements. Facebook's like, kind of quiet about it. Well, it was all in the report. The 700-page report sent to Congress actually identified this, and there were 52 different hardware and software companies, most of which were previously undisclosed, that had essentially varying abilities to access user data. Whether it was messages, whether it was posts, whether it was friends, a whole lot of things, a whole lot of partnerships, just tons of stuff, tons and tons and tons of stuff. So they had different working relationships. Apple, Microsoft, BlackBerry, of course. These were for the phone manufacturers so that they could get their app embedded directly into the operating system itself. And this is bad. I mean, you get a phone now and it has a permanent Facebook connection into it. How do we have any confidence at all that these things still aren't leaking data, even if you do not have a Facebook account or don't ever activate it? That's the insane part about this. So they have of course that. They also have agreements with a variety of other different places. Any type of data type companies. 38 of the 52 have already ended. Of course, they have Amazon, Apple, Toby. Collected apps for those suffering from ALS to use Facebook, Amazon, and Apple. I mean, so here's the list. I've never even heard of some of these. Kind of exciting. Oh, Garmin, that's exciting. GPS. Oh, look at that. Mozilla, one of my favorites. So, like, why Mozilla? So they could push. The notifications to you. But that means that if you've enabled notifications on a Mozilla web browser, Facebook very possibly is getting some of that data as well. Lots of fun stuff. Oh, Yahoo. So can assume that none of this is private or safe, thanks to Yahoo. And I thought there was another one here too. I did have another Facebook one, but I think I put it somewhere else. This is a neat one here. So if you happen to have your lovely little Samsung phones, like I don't want Apple, so I'm going to use Samsung. Well, the Samsung messaging app is randomly sending photos for users. So basically it's through the Samsung texting app that comes pre-built on the phone. And you get in there to basically you have no record of it. It doesn't appear in your phone list, but it legitimately sends because you can get online to your online log through your cell phone carrier and see the message sends. What it's doing is in some cases it's just grabbing individual random images. In some cases it's literally texting your entire photo library to random contacts. Kind of like Amazon Echo. Hey Alexa, order me some unicorn meat. Recording the whole conversation and just sending it to a random person on your contact list. So, if you got any bad pictures in there, anything scary you wouldn't want anybody to see, be careful, A, what pictures are on your phone, and B, whose contacts are in your phone. You don't want your grandmother seeing photos. But anyway, nice, stupid ad. Okay. In fact, I can't even see the rest of the ad because this website is built so horribly. But anyway, your Samsung Messenger app is sending random photos. You can temporarily block this by disabling access to your camera or to your photo library for the SMS Messenger if the thing allows you to actually work. I've demonstrated before that on several of those permission things, if you turn off certain permissions, the app just crashes. So that's always the fun benefit. You know, like, why does my camera need location services? To geotag photos. What if I don't want to geotag my photos? There's a thought. But anyway, your cell phone is very possibly spying. Of course, you have Gmail, because Gmail app developers have been reading your emails. What? Yeah, this kind of came out. Google is trying to downplay this a little bit. Oh, these guys are highly vetted. Highly vetted. Yeah, I still don't want highly vetted people that are undisclosed to me actually seeing any of my emails. Happens all the time. This is why I don't have a Gmail account. I don't want a Gmail account. Bad idea to have a Gmail account. All right, so common practice gone largely unnoticed. So of course I wanted to pull out some of the original articles, but they're all paywalled. Wall Street Journal, basically any third-party app developers that work with several of the things in Gmail have had access to all your messages in there just so they can make sure that things are working. They could literally, okay, here's the sentence. And while these apps do indeed receive and use user consent, in other words, you pulled the app up, would you like to give such and such app ability to access your Google account? Which, by the way, we're not just talking about the Gmail app. We're talking about any app you have installed on your phone, any app on your phone that has the ability to access your Google account. This, people, is why I don't have a Google account on my phone. Just a thought. All right. Gmail's access settings allows user data and companies' app developers to see people's emails, view private details, including recipient addresses, timestamps, and entire messages. While those apps do need to receive user consent, the consent form isn't exactly clear that it would allow humans, and not just computers, to read your emails. So legitimate humans can be reading your emails if you're using Gmail. But don't worry, they're highly vetted. All 15,000 of them that are uploading apps to the App Store maliciously are highly vetted people. Fear not, people. Google is in control. Google told The Verge it only gives data to vetted third-party developers with users' explicit consent. Has anybody ever said, hey, would you like these app developer real human beings to physically read your emails? If you have not consented to that, then no, you have not given explicit consent. Google, wake up. Okay, wake up. The vetting process involves checking whether a company's identity is correctly represented by the app. That's something that scammers and spammers do all the time. Its privacy policy states that it will monitor emails, like who reads those, and the data the company's requesting makes sense for what the company does, like who cares? Not Google. An email app, for instance, should get access to Gmail. Some developers have applied for access to Gmail but have not been granted permission, although the company won't say how many. Yeah, there was that one. It was by the director's brother-in-law. Whoa! Google employees may also read emails, but only in very specific cases where you ask us and give consent, or where we need to for security purpose, such as investigating a bug or abuse. Well, that's ominous. Still, it's clear there are a lot of apps with access, from Salesforce to Microsoft Office. Yeah, that's all we need. Human beings at Microsoft actually reading your emails. Yep. Two lesser-known email apps. If you've ever seen a request like the one below, when entering your Gmail account into an app, it's probably you've given the app permission to read your emails. And WSJ reports that even email services besides Gmail provide third-party apps similar to Access, so it's not just Google that may be having the issues. So here you go. Sample application wants access to your Google account. By the way, if it pops up and says sample application wants access to your Google account, just run and scream now. All right. So, you get all this. Of course, does this anywhere explicitly say that, yes, I explicitly give my consent for a human being to read my emails? The answer is no, it doesn't. And of course, if you push cancel, the whole thing just crashes. So some of those trusted companies include email managing firms, ReturnPath, and Edison Software, which have had opportunities in the past to access thousands of email accounts. Wall Street Journal talked to both companies, which said they had human engineers view hundreds of thousands of email messages in order to train machine algorithms to handle the data. Both ReturnPath and Edison Software policies mention that the companies will monitor email. Still, they don't mention that human engineers and not only machines have had access. Of course, since we have since stopped this practice and expunged all such user data to stay consistent with our company's commitment to achieving the highest standards possible of ensuring privacy. In other words, yesterday, like right before they released the announcement, man. That's when this happened. There's no evidence that third-party Gmail app developments have misused data. Yeah, there's just thousands of them out there. This is like Cambridge Analytical Google version waiting to happen, people. Waiting to happen. Oh, there's my other Facebook article. Facebook has bought UK's Bloomberry AI to ramp up natural language tech in London. So great. Now all of the, all the Facebook apps will have integrated Google Voice AI so that we can all get in here and listen. They can figure out what everybody's saying. This is just like another Cambridge Analytical sounding type thing. Yeah, now they're going to be listening to stuff. Well, they haven't been listening through the microphone up till now, but we're thinking about starting now that we've purchased a voice AI company. Their plan, of course, is to essentially develop a Cortana / Siri / whatever. By the way, if you are still using Skype, check your contact list today because Microsoft started rolling out Cortana on your contact list. Yeah, just what I need. A perpetual spy that I do not want anything access to on my contact list. Unfortunately, I still have to use that crap for business, and so oh boy. So in response to all of this looking around, and this is very similar to the research study that I tried to do on Facebook. I kind of stopped mine early because I just got sick of seeing porn. But what ended up happening is this group out of Northeastern University. I think actually I manage some websites for Northeastern. I think it's the same university. So this university, they decided to put forth a broad scale report to see, is your phone secretly listening to you? Is that microphone being turned on? So I was just looking at Facebook. They looked at, I think, 17,000 apps. So they looked at 17,000 apps, a variety of different phones, variety of different things, and what they are. They wanted to figure out: do the apps listen to what's going on the microphone? Buddy. Do they listen to what's going on the microphone? And they found out that no, they're not listening to the microphone. It's far more ominous. Of these 17,000 apps, over 8,000 of them were taking random screenshots of your phone and sending them to weird and random third parties. So they looked at a variety of different things. They found no evidence of an app unexpectedly activating the microphone or sending audio out when not prompted to do so. So looks like good scientists, they refused to say their study definitively proved your phone isn't secretly listening to you, but they didn't find a single instance of it happening. Instead, they discovered a different disturbing practice: apps recording a phone screen and sending the information to third parties. Of the 17,260 apps, researchers looked at over 9,000 had permissions to access camera and microphone, and thus the potential to overhear the phone owners talking about their need for cat litter or how much they have a certain brand of gelato. Using 10 Android phones, the researchers and an automated program to interact with each of those apps, they then analyzed the traffic generated. A limitation of the study is that automated phone users could not do things humans could, like creating usernames and passwords and signing into an account on an app. Okay, they were looking specifically for any media files that were sent, particularly when they were sent to an unexpected party. Here's their actual setup. Pretty cool setup. Looks like this is a Mac Mini, and then they're utilizing a series of phones and things. So what they found is that they started to see a strange practice. It's the screenshots and video recordings of what people were doing in apps were being sent to third-party domains. For example, when one of the phones using apps from GoPuff, a delivery startup for people who have sudden cravings for junk food, the interaction with the app was recorded and sent to a domain affiliated with Appsy, a mobile analytics company. The video included a screen where you could enter personal information, in this case, their zip code. This isn't a total surprise because Appsy proudly touts its ability to record what users are doing in an app on its website. What bothered the researchers was it wasn't evident to the user that their behavior was being recorded, something which wasn't disclosed in GoPuff's privacy policy. After the researchers contacted GoPuff, it added a disclosure to the policy acknowledging that Appsy might receive users' PII, personally identifiable information, as quote, as an added precaution, we also pulled Appsy SDK from the latest Android and iOS builds, the startup said. Nothing wrong here. Nothing to see. Nothing to see. Appsy, meanwhile, claims it was GoPuff that screwed up. Appsy CEO told me that his company's terms of service clearly state that our customers must disclose the use of third-party technology, and our terms forbid customers from tracking any personal data with Appsy. Well, how do you take random screenshots without compromising personally identifiable data? There's a question we can see. This way. All right. In this case, it appears Appsy's technology was misused by the customer and that our terms of service were violated. Once this issue is brought to our attention, we've immediately disabled tracking capabilities for the mentioned app and purged all recordings of our data from our servers. Well, then what are legitimate uses? Because I've never heard of this company, and I look for these companies. I look for these companies so I can actively block them in my host file. And I've never heard of this company. So how many other apps are using it? Appsy was entirely blameless, though. Spokesperson for Google, who runs the Play Store, through which people get Android apps. Quote, we always appreciate the research community's hard work to improve the online privacy and security practices. A Google person told me by email, after reviewing the research findings, we determined that part of Appsy's service may put some developers at risk of violating Play policy. We're working closely with them to ensure developers appropriately communicate SDK's functionality with their apps and users. The Google Play policy says you must disclose to users how their data will be collected. Again, nobody's reading that. You should be reading that, but nobody's reading that. All right. GoPuff used Appsy, to help optimize performance of its app. Yeah. That old story again. It's all for improvement. So the recording wasn't unexpected on the company side, but it's concerning that a third party can record your phone screen with no notice to you. It illustrates the ease with which a malicious actor could potentially steal information from your phone. A screenshot or video of app interaction could capture private messages, personal information, or even passwords being entered, as many apps show the letter inputted before changing it to a black asterisk. Okay. Yeah, this is why you got to be very careful with the type of stuff that we have going on this. So this was a whirlwind of a ton of different articles here. What are your thoughts to these articles? Let me know in the comments down below. Whew. Well, a lot of comments. All right. Web page looks very nice. Thank you very much. Thanks for the channel. I moved to Linux a few months ago. Manjaro Linux for you. Very good. Hey, Noah. How's it going? Didn't know you were here. Be right back. All right. $700? You pay rent for that? Yeah. Put the license plate in the microwave. Sometimes I miss the good old analog days. Yep. Might as well put a tag on your ear like a cow. Pay $700 for digital license plate? No. Metropolitan leftists probably wouldn't buy it. All right. Good old telephones, cassettes, and no digital pug marks. But you can buy and remove the GPS modem. According to the United States government, Huawei is possibly working for the Chinese government spying on the movements of U.S. citizens. Well, so's the NSA. We're not stopping them. Links Daily, this stuff is very scary. It's unbelievable. Yep. And we're just sheep going to slaughter. I mean, really. All right. Besides, I don't need a GPS. My wife always knows where I am. Sometimes she even knows exactly what I'm thinking. Yeah, it's scariness of the wife, right? It says that it's a 98% false rate. Maybe it's worth the money. You know, you can use old-fashioned maps, save you a lot of money. Plus, if you fall into the time wormhole back in time, the paper maps would be useful. Yep. I want a flip phone now. Yep. Does London have anything better to spend taxpayer money on? I don't think so. Hacking a phone is illegal. Doesn't stop people from doing it. All right, ZTE might be collecting data too. Might also collect information from U.S. citizens. Huawei and ZTE are banning USA, banning Chinese phones. Well, they're trying to get ZTE back at least. I did Mozilla a long time ago, Palmoon and WaterFox. Yeah. Isn't it ridiculous? You have 2 operating systems to choose from, iOS or Android. Well, I'm using Lineage on my phone. Ubuntu Touch. I can purchase a GPS tracker and put it on any car I want. Tell me, do you think it is illegal? If you're putting a GPS tracker, and that's a hard call, you know. If you are a police officer putting a GPS tracker on any random car, yes, would be highly illegal because you would be acting as an agent of the state, which has laws against it. But there's actually technically not laws against a private company collecting data on a person. We need to change the laws to do that. Ubuntu Touch is under active development with UB ports right now, and they're actually working with Purism to have an Ubuntu version of the Librem 5 phone. So no, Ubuntu Touch is not dead. It's no longer being worked on by the Ubuntu team itself, but UB ports is taking it over. Hope to see more Linux-based projects in the mobile market. Yep. Pure OS, Windows 10. So I think smartphones were worse than Windows 10. I don't want Candy Crush. That's correct. Hello, if it's free, you are the product. Of course. Of course Google reads your emails. Yeah, but now they're saying that everyone else reads your emails too. It's not just limited to Google now. Okay, Windows 10 is bad, but I'm pretty sure any brand of smartphone is much worse. Probably. Or any free email service. Fully block permissions to default messaging app on my phone and using Signal. Why don't Tom like Candy Crush? Because it comes pre-installed on Windows 10. That's enough reason for me. That, and I think it's just a highly addictive game that destroys productivity in this world, you know. Greetings, Joe. Hello, George. Pretty much unavoidable. That's why I can't wait for Librem 5 phone. I use GMX Mail. Google is always in control. That's right. This is getting very tinfoil-y. It's free. If you can understand that, you understand it. Yeah. I wonder if logic is a thing. Not really. I mean, logic might be a thing, but convenience is the king. Facebook has solid private information United States citizen to a Chinese sold private information United States citizens to a Chinese company. Yeah. Give Google consent. Consent. All right. Good Lord, calm down. Nah, never. Is there someone behind me? No. Saint owns the internet. Maybe. Alright, the way Google writes their EULA in order to use their stuff, you give them permissions. Yep. I try not to use Google services when I can. Yep. And that's the thing is we need to get back to the days when we're not just defaulting to the free and easy to use stuff because of this type of stuff, right? Yeah, I really need to rebuild my fire animations. I really need to. I have all the elements. I haven't got to it yet. Same, but man, Google is handy when it comes to syncing my info. It's a trap! It's a trap! I'm not using nearly as many Google services as most people do. All right, so under the terms and conditions, okay. 1 Why would anyone read my emails? Boring. Hey, you know, never know, man. Done. Respect to the Linux community, but we're really talking about this on YouTube, a Google service. Yes. Looking for something other than that, Google or YouTube for email. Like I said, the best thing you can do is host your own email. All my emails hosted. That's why I do it that way. Proton mail's under fire. Okay. Why Cerex? I won't use Cerex. Tried that once. Didn't turn out well. Okay. Use Google Chrome because it works better than Firefox. There is not a viable YouTube alternative for getting a message out. Okay, see, this is the thing, all right? There's times you need to utilize a big service, as bad as it could be, very cautiously with the calculated risk of spreading the word about being more careful. I'm not anti-Google. There's legitimate Google services that I use very willingly, knowledgeably, and cautiously. And that's the thing. What I'm advising people against doing is just going, oh, Google free everything. It's so easy and convenient. Hand it all to Google. That's what most people do, and it's bad. You need to not do that. So I don't use Google for any data backups. I don't use Google for any email. I don't use Google for anything more than what I need for my web design stuff with the analytics search consoles for people's websites. I use the YouTube so I can get the message out. And outside of that, I don't... Oh, I use Google Hangouts for some type of conferencing. If it's a non-critical conferencing, I have my own built conferencing on Nextcloud. We're still working on getting it better streamlined and things, but for the most part, it works fairly well. But with all of that being said, you know, you don't just run completely away and go, oh, it's just bad and evil, never ever use it. You need to use it cautiously with a specific plan, knowing exactly what the risks are. It's like owning a firearm. You don't run around, hey, look, a gun! Ah! You don't do that. You realize the danger of what you have in your hand and you use it very cautiously. That's what I'm advocating you do with these services. Do phone hackers use your microphone? They can. Did EB flip his lid? Very possibly. I know Facebook wants to collect more personal data in order to get an SMS from 1505. SMS reads DCBA Association. Yeah. EB had a crash, like Peppermint 9 crashed on him a few days ago, and so he was installing Windows. But, you know, we just said, go back to Peppermint 7 or 8 or something and be done. Because, frankly, Peppermint 9... based on Ubuntu 18, everything based on Ubuntu 18's got problems. Even Linux Mint Ubuntu 19 based on Ubuntu 18. Linux Mint 19 is based on Ubuntu 18. Even that has problems. There's something wrong in Ubuntu 18's code. So a lot of things. Twitch. No, Twitch is not a viable alternative. Twitch would be a number 2 probably, but with maybe 10% of the user base, maybe, it's not a viable alternative. Frankly, Twitch sucks. Okay? NVIDIA drivers crashed as Peppermint 19. Yeah, it's possible. Should already be known that advertising companies collect data and give it to other companies. Microsoft acquiring Git is failing the initial smell test. Library IO. Yeah, maybe 1% or less of YouTube's base. That's why I'm not there. You see what I mean? Okay. Greetings, Keegan. How's it going there? Can't wait for Librem 5. My current phone is not allowed online. Same. Hardware kill switches and open source everything. Count me in. Yep. Everyone should know these companies only care about money. They do not care about consequences of data being stolen. He also said he's using Peppermint 8 now because of drivers with Peppermint 9. Okay, well, he's probably went back to 8 then. That's good. I haven't talked to him in a couple of days, so. Microsoft has so many smaller companies, they are impossible to know exactly who's providing your software and services. Human species should boycott the web for a day. Keep dropping down to 144p and change back to 720. What a pain. It might actually not be this. It might be what you're watching it on. We're going to get to that in a few minutes. Toss, are you on? Oh, hi, Toss. How's it going? I missed you. Greetings. It'd be good to accomplish, but your intent is good. Tennessean, okay. What do you think about Sprint merging with T-Mobile? I think it's a bad idea. We need more cell phone companies, not less. And it looks like Paper Bag Man agrees. Should know Microsoft, Apple, Google collect and sell company information. What do you think about Cubes OS? I think Cubes OS is absolutely awesome, and I am looking for the time to do more tutorials with Cubes 4. Tried Candy Crush, it's super boring. How can anyone like it? I don't know, man. Is privacytools.io a safe web source? I don't know. I've never heard of it. What's worse, it keeps installing Candy Crush if you uninstall it. Yes. Do I oppose video games? I give people very stern warnings on video games because the biggest problem is that the video game companies, they hire PhDs in human psychology to learn how to addict you to a game. And then they are now releasing games that are not ready to be released and then milking you for everything you can. You're basically just this money pit for them. And I've seen people live in destitution because they're so addicted to their video games they can't stop. The worst story I remember is I was talking to one of my case managers at Big Brothers before, and he was telling me a friend of his got so addicted to World of Warcraft. His friends finally dragged him out one day. He couldn't stand being away from the orc hunt one day. He got all drunk trying to cope with it. Got a DUI, got locked up in jail, and all he cared about is that somebody paid his subscription fee so he wouldn't lose his characters. He ended up going to AA to get off of his Warcraft addiction. That's how bad a lot of these games are, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. And that's what the issue with loot boxes are. There's a lot of dangers and warnings in video games. Now, that being said, I'm not necessarily for banning all video games. That's not a good thing. How do you host your own email? You purchase a domain name and you purchase a hosting account, which you can do for as little as $50 a year, and you run your emails through your hosting platform. Now, it's better if you get one with free SSLs. So I actually have affiliate links if you're interested for A2 hosting and SiteGround. Those are two companies that I highly recommend. It's much better if you can do a VPS, but those are more expensive. But that's what you do. You buy a domain name, you get a web hosting system through cPanel, and you create your email addresses, and that's what you use. That's the best way to do email. And if your hosting company goes crazy, you make a backup of your cPanel and you move it to another company that's not crazy. Greetings, Political Monkey. How are you? When I first purchased my phone, it kept randomly installing apps by itself from the Play Store. It took months before I found a culprit app doing it. It came pre-installed. Yep. How exciting. Do a guide to make a really good network. I'll think about it. All right. I just heard a self-hosted replacement for Google Photos on Linux Unplugged is called Own Photos. Huh. I know Nextcloud does a decent job with photos, but not nearly as good as that probably. That's interesting though. I might have to look into that. WaterFox works better than Firefox, which works better than Chromium, which works better than Chrome. Too bad BitChute isn't more popular. Yeah, Librem 5 is supposed to be going to allow custom ROMs. Would you rather use the stock Linux distro or installing Lineage? Well, the Librem 5 phone is true Linux. Lineage is an Android base. I don't know if they'd be cross-compatible. What Librem 5 phone does do is it has 3 different desktop environments. They're working with Plasma Mobile, they're working with a GNOME, and they're working with UB ports to have an Ubuntu phone. So effectively on the Librem phone, you can get GNOME, Plasma, or Ubuntu is the desktop environments. That's my last understanding, and I could be wrong about that. And good to see you, Tech Lore. How's it going? So yeah, that's kind of the thing. So it's not like an Android phone. The Librem 5 is a true Linux, not an Android phone. So I'm not sure if Android ROMs will work on it. I just don't know. I haven't been following the development enough to know for sure. But that's my understanding is it's 3 desktop environments on the Linux phone. If anybody knows differently, please let me know for sure if anybody's been involved in that. Microsoft turning into an advertising company? Yes. So I don't understand why companies buy so much data. Money. Yep. Greetings, Scott. How's it going? The topics are in the wild, but populating well. I feel those private topics and discussions becoming more and more common on social forums. So obfuscation of keywords is our favorite. Yes. Microsoft is malware and spy. Yes. Do you have a video that outlines a good network? No, the backbone of a good network, though, is a good router. And I do have a good video on building my pfSense router based on a Fitlit PC. That's where you start is creating your own router using pfSense, which you can do with a Fitlit PC, which would cost you just a couple $100 to buy one of those, and installing the operating system and configure it is pretty easy. I have a video about how to do all that kind of stuff. You can also do it just by buying a mini tower. You probably could not do that on a Raspberry Pi, but a mini tower computer, you could do that. You just need to add an extra card into it that will allow for extra network ports. So that's really the best thing to do. And then for me, I run a pfSense router, which goes over to an 8-port gigabit switch, and then that actually hardwires all my computers into a good network. And I have a NAS over there as well. My NAS is built out of a micro tower. But yeah, maybe I'll see about doing something else more like that. Hey, Alexander, how are you doing? Okay, Switch, do you still use WaterFox? If not, why? Yes, I am still using WaterFox. Next week, I'll be walking around St. Augustine, Florida, using an actual digital camera instead of a smartphone. Very good. Used to be addicted to WoW. Yep, that's why I don't use it. Never played it because of that. Let's see. I had a buddy in WoW, lost his job. His wife ended up dead from a personal neglect. I'm addicted to privacy. Where can I threat that? Though other software is... thoughts on other software than FreeNAS. Really not into having a USB running my FreeNAS. I use Open Media Vault, and I use Open Media Vault because it's based on Debian, so if something goes goofy under the hood, I can fix it a lot easier. I run my NAS off of a USB key plugged into the front, and I have 2 internal hard drives that are rated together as mirror images. pfSense good. Yes, pfSense is awesome. That is what I'm using for my router system, and it works like a charm. I do not recommend Google Translate or Microsoft Translate. They often mess up badly. Yep. Okay, ever heard of Musonium Cloud Services? I have not. No. The email has to be free. The best free one I know of is Proton Mail. Librem website says it will be compatible. Oh, really? It is compatible with Android ROMs. That's cool. Would I rather use an Android ROMs or Linux? I would probably rather use Linux than Android ROMs. Of course, the open source Android ROMs pretty much will not be making those Google connections, but I'd rather use straight Linux anyway, as long as it's compatible with everything. But for me, what do I need? Web browser, mobile hotspot, and email. Those are the core things that I look for, and a camera, a good camera. Those are the core things that I use on my phone. So as long as I can support those things on a pure Linux phone, I'm happy with that. I don't need anything else. So I would definitely keep it on straight Linux even if it could support Android. Except maybe Windows. I might just install Windows on it. I mean, that would be the thing. The think KDE is an Android alternative. Yeah, KDE Plasma, Plasma Mobile, I think it's called. That's actually why I bought the Nexus 5X, because it was one of the few phones that supported it, but it's still way alpha, and so I went with Lineage because it works. Okay. WaterFox. WaterFox is a replacement for Firefox. It's based on Firefox with all of the privacy stuff stripped out. I have 1804 working fine, but movies from YouTube don't work. It's a common issue. What are you watching it on? I don't have a problem with HD on mine. But building all your net stuff is excellent way of learning a better box. Okay, I know Google Translate from Microsoft Translate especially had a hard time recognizing archaic words and idioms. My understanding, Librem 5 will not run Google ROMs. At first, it will be basically a web browser. Huh. I don't know. I guess we have a debate. All right. Can you get Proton Mail on iPhone? You can check it on the web browser. See, here's the funny thing about apps. You do not have to have an app on a on a phone. All right. Oftentimes, all an app is a web browser SSB type thing with a whole lot of web trackers. It's better to just use a good security-focused web browser on your device to access what you need the app for. In most cases, it's way better to just use the web browser than to use the app for some service. So I use Proton with Chromium on my Lineage phone, just using the web browser. So yes, you can do that. All right. Let's see. For me, since I'm already learning Mandarin Chinese, I have to be able to read articles from the time I'm done with the 3rd or 4th year of Mandarin. All right. Whoa, I hit the bottom of the comments, folks. Let's move on. We're going to be covering the next couple rounds of articles, which we are just going to put under the basic category Weekly News Roundup. I have one from business, and I have two from security. So we're going to be jumping on to those. Before we jump into those, just a reminder, I will be live streaming on the Christian channel tonight. So I will be over on my Christian channel, which is at Our Walk in Christ, where we're going to be looking at Titus chapter 3. So just an announcement for that. So that'll be in about an hour. So I need to wrap this up within about 30 minutes or so. So let's go ahead and jump on over to our, and I'm not going to record the next one, so we're just going to kind of jump on over to this. We're going to be doing our business and our security news next. All right, so Pfizer, fun business news. Pfizer raises prices on 100 drugs again. Somebody needs to stop these pharmaceutical companies, all right? We just need to stop them. I mean, remember it was Goldman Sachs was talking with one of them. I can't remember which, if it was Pfizer or somebody else. I thought it was another drug company. They're like, stop curing diseases. It's causing our bottom line to get hurt. They made $12 billion on their drug for hepatitis C the first year it was launched, but it was too effective and it prevented people from getting hepatitis C, so they're only set to make $3 million on it or $3 billion on it this year. Someone play me a song from a small violin. Their profit will be cut by about $4 billion because they cured people of a disease. I have a fun thing. Let's just inject all these morons with hepatitis C. See if they are interested in the disease being cured. But yeah, Pfizer's raising prices on 100 drugs again. Common thing. Every 6 months they go through and they raise prices on drugs. We just need to stop this. It's like, okay, the drug is out of development. It's cheaper to make. It's getting cheaper to make by the year. We don't need to keep jacking up the prices. These are pharmaceuticals that may be needed to heal people who are sick. Stop robbing the sick blind. There is a special layer in hell reserved for people who are profiteering off of the illnesses of others. I mean, really. Security news. This article here, I looked at this, and if you guys are more into security type stuff, and you can I have a weird tingy reading this, that I'm thinking there's something going on here that is probably more for selling stuff than anything else. So I don't even know if this is a true thing or not. Rampage exploits critically vulnerability in all modern phones, allowing apps to gain unauthorized access to the device. While apps are typically not permitted to read data from other apps, a malicious program can craft a Rampage exploit to get administrative control and get hold of secrets stored in the device. This might include your password stored in Password Manager or browser, your personal photos, emails, instant messages, and even business-critical documents. Rampage works on Android devices, including smartphones and tablets, and it's not unlikely similar attacks are possible on Apple products or even regular personal attacks. Guardian is an award-winning prototype defense mechanism that stops Rampage attacks. So here's bad Rampage. Breaks most fundamental isolation between user, application, and operating system. The attack allows an app to take full administrative control of the device. If your device is shipped with a vulnerable memory and runs an unpatched operating system, it is not safe to work with sensitive information without the chance of leaking it. Unfortunately, there's no software patches against Rampage deployed yet, but Guardian defends against Rampage attacks. It prevents the attacker from modifying critical data structures by carefully enforcing a novel isolation policy. Guardian won the Best Research Award at the International Conference on Computing Systems. Although Guardian is not deployed on operating systems yet, there are ongoing efforts to realize this. The source code for Guardian is available online and in form of an Android kernel patch. Okay, so the team behind it, of course, here's the team behind it. Now, here is the scary part for me, is when you start getting into the Q&A of all this, all right? Of course, you can download it here. You can deploy, check the source code, whatever. Am I affected? That's unclear. You can get some level of indication by running our test app. So you got to download the test app to see if you're vulnerable to this. Can I detect if someone has exploited it? Probably not. Can my antivirus detect it? Probably not. What can be leaked? Absolutely everything. Has this been abused? We don't know, man. Is there a workaround? No. The only efforts we're aware of is our own work on Guardian. What systems are affected? Android-based systems may be affected. More technically, every mobile device that is shipped by basically these memory units are potentially effective, which is effectively every phone since 2012. We successfully tested Rampage on LG 4. At the moment, it is unclear what whether desktop operating systems are also affected. What's the difference between Rampage and Guardian? Guardian is a defense to mitigate Rampage attacks. Why is it called Rampage? Attacks the RAM. Why is it called Guardian? Attacks it, guards against it. Here's an academic paper about this. There is a bug report about this. Can you see it in action? No. Can I use the logo? Yes, and please also get a t-shirt while you're at it, and stickers. Self-promotion type stuff. Is there proof of concept? No. Why does it look similar to Spectre and Meltdown? Because imitation is a serious form of flattery. Google came down and kind of gave this statement. We received the following. We have worked closely with the research team, so this vulnerability isn't a practical concern for an overwhelming majority of users. We appreciate any effort provided by them. They're basically saying, we're not sure about this. And I'm reading through all this website, and I'm like, I don't know. This seems to me very fishy. It seems like they're pushing their own stuff way too much, and they don't seem to have any way to test it, prove it, or demonstrate it. I think this is a cash grab. What do you guys think? Particularly if you are more knowledgeable in this type of stuff, let me know what you think. This is weird. This one I reported on back in March as a bug that scammers were using that affected Firefox and I think Safari. Now they are able to also affect Chrome. And it was patched in Chrome, but the most recent version of Chrome reverted back. Chrome 67 reverted back, and this exploit is now allowable again. So what happens is you land on a page with compromised JavaScript. They load a system that constantly saves a file so many times it freezes your entire browser, and in some cases your entire system, with this page that says you need to call this phone number in order to get this closed down. Now, why authorities don't track down this phone number and go pick everybody up and throw them in a prison cell is far beyond me, because they've been doing this since March. But anyway, this is something that was patched in Chrome, but the most recent version of Chrome reverted back, and so you are now affected. So if you get this type of pop-up that looks like this on the screen, you might need to go into your either a task manager on Windows or system resource monitor on Linux and just kill the application. That's what you do against it. So let me know what you think about those ones down below. All right. I've heard some people complain Japanese is notoriously difficult to translate with translators. So explain, you can't just say that it's bad without an explanation. So Chromium is not spying on us. Hard to say. I haven't tested Mint 19 enough to know for sure, personally. It's possible to browse your Linux PC from a Sony Smart TV to stream movies from it. I don't know about a Sony Smart TV, but Kodi can do such a thing. What I do with the NAS is the NAS has the Open Media Server installed on it. So any device that can read an Open Media Server, including Kodi, can read that and stream any type of media files that happens beyond that and allowed. So I'm not sure about Sony Smart TV, but I know if you have a Kodi box, you can do that. Jugs aren't for curing people. Yeah, the grammar Mandarin is actually easier to learn than most languages. No conjunction, no verbs, no inflections, no gender, no numbers, no plurals. Understand why Motown exists. You should overcome it and live life. Sirix, we don't swear on this channel. Okay. Be surprised if Guardian created that virus. Best period in time for human history. Ice Age. Amen. FDA should stop issuing licenses to farm companies and reduce the patents to patent time to 7 years, giving free open market to generic companies to compete against Big Pharma. Yeah. Stand for men going their own way, and I'm already alive. What are you talking about? All right. Sounds like snake oil, a joke. Yeah. All right. Let's see. The United Nations worry about the lack of foreign language speakers in the United States. Yeah. You kidding? I don't want you knocking out my microphone, hanging out down there. There we go. All right, let's see. MG Toe came from all different backgrounds. Okay, let's not resort to name calling, please. And yes, respect each other's different life choices. Some are gay, some are straight. Some are men going their own way, and others want a wife. Okay, deal with it. Okay, daughter's being treated for Hep C now. No idea how she contracted it. She was young when diagnosed. She got the cheat meds. Only 12-week round is literally $75,000. Yeah, that's yeah. I would use Guardian if there was proof of concept and could be demonstrated if it was effective. Yep. Guardian Rampage is next propaganda piece from the, let's see, letter infosec sublets allow Spectre meltdown. I heard in Europe, students are required to learn 3 languages before they graduate high school. Wow. Pseudo Big Pharma. Yep. All right. Just got Proton Mail. There you go. Very good. All right. Eric, when do they say that? Actually, there's injustices against men in the court system. 9% of men pay alimony. Yep. Is it a Christian channel? No swearing. Well, this channel is not specifically a Christian channel, but I do keep the morality high. So, yeah. My other channel is a Christian channel. I hate when people swear. It's so useless. The alternatives to every swear word out there. Thank you for deleting that. Yep. America, you're only required to speak 2 languages. Some school districts do not require it. Hey, man, I managed high school, all of college, and all of grad school without ever taking a foreign language. We think of Google becoming a platinum member of the Linux Foundation. Better than Microsoft becoming a platinum member of the Linux Foundation. That's my thoughts on that. All right, we're going to go ahead and run our last one, which is going to be net neutrality fails. Welcome back to Switch to Linux. Today we're going to be talking about some net neutrality fails. Of course, big business is taking over everything. They have bought and sold our entire FCC, and Asia Shut Your Pie Hole keeps on voting to give them more and more and more and more power. Of course, everything's going to be perfectly the same. It's so much better for us. So I found just 3, and these ones here aren't super major big deals, but they are the start of that slippery slope that just brings us tumbling on down the track. And they all have to deal with wireless carriers. So Comcast Xfinity Mobile. So this is actually a subcontract through Verizon, but you can buy for $45 a month. You can buy their unlimited plan. In fact, last time I called Comcast to say, hey, your stupid internet ain't working, they kept on trying to sell me their Xfinity Mobile. It's like, hey, moron, I don't want to use your internet, let alone use anything else by you where there's actually competition. Why anybody buys this crap is so far beyond me. They should have a checkup from the neck up. But anyway, despite paying $45 for unlimited internet, your internet is going to be throttled at 720p videos to 480p. So you can only watch videos at 480p on your phones. If you want to get back up to 720p, guess what you got to do? Cash out a little bit more, pay some more. And of course they released an email about it. This is a Reddit thread where they were kind of discussing this email, but pretty much that's all they're doing is they've come out and they said, hey, this is what we're going to do. You want to get full speed again? Got to pay. This is exactly what we've been saying is going to happen. It's going to be the point where we get to this. We get these things coming up, and all that's going to happen here is we're going to have more and more and more things pulled out of our services. Pretty soon it's going to be, oh, you can't do YouTube anymore unless you pay. Or you can't do this unless you pay. Can't do that unless you pay extra. This is the beginning of that slippery slope. Comcast has started doing it. Spectrum has started to do it. Spectrum Mobile probably contracted to the same thing. Of course, they both have very similar websites, very similar system. Also $45 per line or $14 per gigabyte that you use. Of course, if you come over here and you check this out, hey, DVD quality video streaming is supported. Video typically streams at 480p. So despite being unlimited, you can actually only get this at 480p, which probably for a smartphone is probably okay. You know, again, they're just pulling this out. Now, these are both your resellers. Of course, AT&T pulled out their streaming service so they can start pushing some other things. And after AT&T made all this big deal about this issue, like the reason they were allowed to buy Time Warner is because their argument said we are going to be able to reduce prices. In fact, that's exactly what the court said, is that what they said, let's see, 2 months ago, AT&T said in a court filing that buying Time Warner would allow it to lower prices. U.S. Department of Justice tried to stop the merger, arguing it would raise prices for consumers, but a federal judge sided with AT&T, and the merger was completed on June 15th. Okay. So here we have a little argument here. The evidence overwhelmingly showed that this merger is likely to enhance competition substantially. How does merging two big media giants increase competition? It doesn't decrease it, because it will enable the merged company to reduce prices, the innovative video products, and compete more effectively against increasingly powerful vertically integrated FANG, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google, none of which are ISPs, you morons. They told the district judge who had just recently cashed a $700 billion check from AT&T, well, after all that big hoopla, now they're raising their service by $5 per month, despite promising in court it would be lowering prices. $5 increase will go into effect July 26 for new companies and varies for existing customers based on their billing date. $5 increase will be affect all DirecTV Now tiers except the Spanish TV package, AT&T told ours. That means DirecTV packages will now cost $35, $50, $60, $70 a month, going up to $40, $55, $65, and $75. Yay for our Supreme Court that just is completely siding with AT&T. Let's all give them a round of applause. This is the beginning of the decline of the net as we know it. Companies are buying these up. They have the ability now to, now they have complete monopolies over their areas. Now they can jack up the prices all they want. $5 going from $35 to $40 is significant, which, by the way, not nearly as significant as I got, because a year ago I was only paying $30 or $40 a month for internet, and they jacked that up. I'm paying $90 a month for internet now. My fee for the internet more than doubled in a 12-month period of time, and I can do nothing about it because I have a monopoly. There is no other internet provider I can get. I have to pay what they say to pay. That's it, period. And it has more than doubled. This is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. So if you'd like to help support the channel, check out the PayPal, or excuse me, there's PayPal link on my channel at switchtolinux.com/support. Check out my Patreon page, patreon.com/TomM, or you can pick up stuff from Amazon. If you buy from anything from Amazon, consider using my Amazon affiliate link. That will actually help to mitigate my now $90 a month for crappy internet that dies every once in a while. That's my thoughts. What are your thoughts, folks? Let me know. All right. What do I think of Google becoming, let's see, I already covered that one. Lazarus requirement in Italy, don't know now. Okay. Didn't do good when Google backed Firefox, so I'm concerned. Believe in laissez-faire and competitive capitals, no monopolies, I only want government intervention if there's an oligarchy. I'm for that. I like that. I agree with that. We need to get back to capitalism, not corporatocracy and oligarchy, which are the two things we have running on us right now. For what it's worth, I don't think Tom being a Christian has anything to do with him not wanting swearing. I think it's more about being family friendly. And that's exactly what it is for this channel. I mean, I don't necessarily shy away from a Christian argument here, but I don't specifically go there. But I do keep this channel family friendly. You want Christian stuff? Check out my channel called Our Walk in Christ. You can learn all about my Christian stuff, and I will be streaming on that in about 45 minutes, which means I got to jump off because I have to eat dinner soon. When using a secure email service like Proton Mail, should we avoid using iOS or Windows? Not necessarily. Live in California, but choose to learn French instead of Spanish. Okay, yes, really, U.S., you're not required to learn any language. Well, yeah, well, actually, you are required to have languages now in almost every jurisdiction. However, the number of people who actually learn languages versus fulfill their minimum requirements is perilously close to 100%. Eric, that has nothing to do with the women you find here. Clear bias against men in the court system. All right. The internet and EU got saved. Spindex, we don't swear on this channel. Thank you. Yes, but yes, what he was saying is that the EU did send the crazy copyright ruling back to the drawing board. They are going to be voting on it again in September, and there is another day of action in October, or excuse me, August. So keep an eye out for that. California as well. My school has Spanish classmates, Mandarin classes. I decided to learn Mandarin in 10th grade. I'm already entering 11th with second-year speaking skills. Which OS do I use? My main OS is Linux Mint Cinnamon. I use a variety of other OSs as well. I have access to all three major OSs here because I'm a web developer and I need to test everything all over the place. Hate talking to my bank because they avoid answering my questions and upsell instead. Yep. And that's about the time I close accounts with banks that start doing that. If you're not there to be a bank, if you're there just there to be a business and push crap, I don't want to do business with you. That's the bottom line. Statistically, men commit suicide, and the majority of homeless are men. 76% of homicide victims are men. 93% of work fatalities are male. Yeah. Hard learning curve because English and Spanish are nowhere near the same. Yeah. Greeting, JJ Game. How are you? Classmates watch adult content on their phones in the middle of class. Ugh. English, four-sided Spanish or French. My father explained to them that it's unconstitutional to have German as an option. Wow. Thoughts on MJ Toe? You know, whatever you want, you know. MG Toe's men going their own way just kind of means that, hey, we're going to do away with all this. Everyone's got to go get a wife thing and go live their life as the way they want it. That's fine. No problem there. Pizza loving nerd OD'd on too much pizza tonight? I guess. I don't know. I haven't seen pizza in a while. Pizza. Net neutrality. Rich getting richer. Thanks, Trump. No, it has nothing to do with Trump. Obama put the Asian pie in the position. Trump just promoted the guy. That has nothing to do with Trump. We are in a completely screwed up democracy. The rich are going to get rich no matter if Republicans or Democrats control the White House. Doesn't matter. Okay, good news. The uploader for EU is stopped yesterday in the Parliament. Yes. Companies, even though if they recognize their content is addictive, but do not care. No, they don't care. I give my thoughts on this. I'm going to break a rule and start cussing, so I'm going to be quiet. Fair enough. Fair enough. What do I think about lobbyists? I don't want to say that on camera. I think all lobbyists should be banished. I don't think lobbying should be a thing. Yeah, send extra funds, but I need it for my ISP increases. Yep. Pretty much. Okay, it's all about learning another language. Joe, that crosses the line. Please avoid from personal insults. Got a second degree. Could have gotten a second degree when I went back to college where they required a foreign language class to be taken. Full hat number 31. It's possibly the most important and significant you've had. I don't remember which 31 was. Which one was 31? I got like 60 of them now, so I don't know. I have to draw names of the memes. Men going feminist way. Oh boy. All right, guys, we're going to jump off here because I have another stream coming up in 40 minutes on the other channel, which is called Our Walk in Christ. I'll go ahead and give you guys a link to that channel. What is Linux Mint 18.3 based on? It is based on Ubuntu 16. Okay, copy link location. All right, so the link coming in now, that is for my live stream that starts in 40 minutes, which means I need to really go and grab dinner now. So I'm going to have to jump off here. I missed it when he insulted you. My apologies. I did not delete that one. I just didn't see it. Very progressive about corruption in the government. Yes, I am very progressive. My total thing is I think that lobbyists should be banned. No company should be allowed to provide anything to any candidate or any government official, and the maximum amount an individual person should be allowed to give to any candidate or political figure in any circumstances is no more than $1,000. That creates a level playing field for everybody and will prevent people from buying politicians. About blocking content on devices. Very good. All right, guys, we are going to jump off. Have yourselves a wonderful day, and I hope to see you on the Christian channel. If you are into that type of stuff, we're going to be talking about Titus chapter 3 in about 40 minutes. Have yourselves a wonderful evening if I do not see you otherwise, and tune in tomorrow, 9 o'clock Eastern time, for a live show about bullying and cyberbullying with a variety of different people on the show. So have yourselves a wonderful evening, and catch you later.